Hello everybody, it's been a while since I put a video on here, but I wanted to talk about a chapter in the big book tonight. It is chapter 5, How It Works. I am only going to read the 12 steps and the first few pages of this, and then I'm going to talk about it. Right on? Right on. Chapter 5, How It Works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any lengths to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was no, until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol or drugs, and they are cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is your higher power. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. And here are the steps that we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Number 1. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could be restored to us, or could restore us to sanity. Number 2. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him, as you understand him, which means your higher power. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being that the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. 7, humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take a personal inventory, and we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Last but not least, 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order! I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would if he were sought. And being convinced of these, we were at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to God as we understood him. And just what do we mean by that? And just what do we do? I'm going to go a little bit into this because my topic on this video is the 3rd step. So the first requirement is that we be convinced that any life run on self-will, which means your will, can hardly be a success. On that basis, we are almost always in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Most people try to live by self-propulsion. Each person is like an actor who wants to run the whole show, is forever trying to arrange the lights, the ballet, the scenery, and the rest of the players in his own way. If his arrangements would only stay put, if you just do what I tell you, it would work. If people would only do as he wished, the show would be great. Everybody, including himself, would be pleased. Life would be wonderful. In trying to make these arrangements, our actor may sometimes be quite virtuous. He may be kind, considerate, patient, generous, even modest and self-sacrificing. But on the other hand, he may be mean, egotistical, selfish, and dishonest. But as with most humans, he is more likely to have varied traits. What usually happens? The show doesn't come off very well. He begins to think life doesn't treat him right. He decides to exert himself more. He becomes, on the next occasion, still more demanding or gracious as the case may be. Still, the play does not suit him. Admitting he may be somewhat at fault, he is sure that other people are more to blame. He becomes angry, indignant, self-pitying. What is his basic trouble? Is he not really a self-seeker even when trying to be kind? Is he not a victim of the delusion that he can wrest satisfaction and happiness out of this world if he only manages well? Is it not evident to the rest of the players that these are the things he wants? And do not his actions make each of them wish to retaliate, snatching all they can get out of the show? Is he not, even in his best moments, a producer of confusion rather than harmony? So I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there because if that doesn't sound like you, while you are in active addiction, then you don't need to be watching this. So what we just kind of read, where after the 12 steps, we read about somebody that is always trying to be in control. Someone who always wants something to go their way, and if it's not their way, then it's the end of the world. I'm guilty of this. I am a year sober, and I am still guilty of this. None of us are perfect, but as long as you continue to do the inner work, you'll get close. We seek progress, not perfection, okay? So let's talk about this 3rd step, right? Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. I grew up in, not so much a religious household, being that I never grew up in a household. It was many households with many different people, but where I mostly went to church and didn't really have a choice of the matter. So God was kind of just pushed on me. Although I do believe some of the things, the thing I do believe is that my way doesn't work. It's never worked. And if I just put it in my higher power's hands, most of the times things turn out exactly how they should, even when it's not how I wanted. But, it's for the best. So your 3rd step this is how I was taught by one of my sponsors, is think about an arch, okay? Think about an arch. And you need a very strong foundation to hold this up, right? That 3rd step is your foundation. if you are not 100% honest with yourself, with your sponsor, excuse me, with God, your higher power, whoever it may be. Mine was the Energizer Bunny, because when I got into sober living, I had zero energy. I was depleted. I was done. And somehow I kept going. So for a while, that was mine. Funny, right? The thing is that if you are constantly seeking your own will, you're not going to get very far. Look where our will got us. Well, shit, I don't know where yours got you, but I know mine got me spending every last dime that I had for my fix. I know mine got me overdosing in gas station parking lots with all my car's door locked and firemen having to come through my sunroof. Mine put me in jail. Mine got me stealing from places to make money for my habit. So where did your will get you? I'm just curious. But every time I've put it in someone else's hands and prayed for the best result, whatever his will is for me, things worked out pretty well. That third step is the most important, in my opinion. It builds the foundation of your forever recovery, if that's what you're looking for. I struggled for a very long time with that third step, because who doesn't want to do what they want to do? But my bright ideas up here aren't so bright. And nobody wants to admit that. I'm a know-it-all. I think I know everything. Clearly, that's not the case. Let's take a look at my track record. You know? Just something to think about. I just got all this new gear, this light, this mic. I got it all for Christmas. I'm in front of a desktop. Just haven't figured out how to post from there yet. But you guys, we're going to go over these steps for a while. I started on 3 today, but I think we're going to start at 1 tomorrow. And we're going to work through them every day for the next few weeks. If anyone would like to leave comments, that's wonderful. I'm actually in Facebook jail for 29 days. I'm trying to appeal it. That's how I run my business. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I would love to talk more recovery. I would love for comments. I would love to talk to people. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. You know, I stays with my big book. Gotta have the pack of cigarettes. That's all I smoked in sober living. By the way, I am 1 year clean. My clean date was November 28th. And my entire life has changed. I will tell you my story in another video. This video has now gone to 13 minutes. Usually I sit on here for about 15, but I think I've kind of got my point across with this topic. I wish you guys all a very wonderful weekend. Leave your feedback for me, please. Remember, my Facebook is down for 29 days, so you can find me on TikTok. I need 1,000 followers. That way I can go live on there as well. But as for now, we're here, baby. Good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.